We help a listener with his alien issues today on Out of Character. Hi, and welcome to Out of Character. I'm Jason Corley.
I'm Scott Forster.
And I'm Derek Rex.
And today's question comes from our contact page on Facebook from Brendan Levi, who is GMing a game, and he got himself into kind of a corner. And so
quandary, one might say.
A quandary, a
Yes.
sticky situation, and he wants our help to get out. So, of course, because we exist only to solve all of your problems, we will definitely do that. So
We're not just going to sit back and watch him spin.
no, we're not going to point and laugh for 9 minutes. We're actually going to help Brendan. So I'm going to read the comment.
Okay, good, because I know the quandary.
Okay, so here goes.
Scott knows,
also know
but
the quandary.
we need to
They
let
wanna
everybody
know the
else know.
quandary.
He says, "Good day, my name is Brendan." I assume he's from Australia. "And I'm a GM who has a bit of a hard situation. My group has spent the entire campaign ignoring all clues and opportunities that might help them out." I've never had that happen. That's shocking.
Okay, you're a GM. That's the show.
Here we go. They have taken captive a man in control of a horde of aliens. The aliens are way too powerful to fight as a group, but the man needs to be brought in alive. The player characters have been surrounded by the aliens. The captive doesn't want to be taken off the ship, but they need to bring him into the authorities. So the only thing stopping the aliens from tearing the player characters apart is that they can take him out with one shot before the aliens can do that. The villain has no this is what he concludes with. The villain has no motive to keep them alive if they release him, and doesn't want to be taken to the authorities, so will not let them take him off the ship without a fight. So, what advice would the out of character crew advise in this situation? So go ahead, guys.
Well, the first thing I thought about was in any sort of classical game master dilemma like this, we should go to the source,
Right.
and ask ourselves, what would Gary do? Okay? Gary Gygax loved to set up these kind of situations.
He would get a
Oh,
thesaurus
no.
out for first things first.
Yep. And then he would have them make a single die roll to determine how things would go out. I mean, this is the guy that invented save versus death.
The guy's head is actually a gas spore, and if they shoot him, he explodes and everyone dies.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
All right, so there's it. That's not the way I would go. Instead, I would look at how can you turn the tables? Obviously, we've got this Mexican standoff. The team can't afford to give the guy up because that's their death sentence, and he can't afford to let them take him off the ship because that's his death sentence.
Right.
And so, short of coming down to a big firefight. So I thought, well, let's just change it around. What if one of the aliens in the horde that have the group surrounded kill their own boss? Take him out because now that individual is going to be in charge.
I like it. So, in other words, you would make it so that, say, some other force could take control of the horde, and they want to take advantage of this guy's absence in order to take over this, alien bioweapon, so to speak.
And perhaps, they come to an agreement with the party.
Right.
Right. Now they're sided with them. Or
Maybe they say to the party, you take him out and I'll get the horde out of here. And then the party's faced with a dilemma of, do we execute the guy and let whoever this other shady character is take over this alien thing, or do we, dive further into the dilemma because now we got two people mad at us? That's good.
Right.
What were some of your ideas, Scott?
One of my ideas was, you've got this standoff, you've got this unstoppable force that can take out the player characters, and their only leverage is we've got this one guy and they don't want to attack because we'll kill him. But we're not going to get anywhere like that. We're going to stand there for days because nobody has the upper hand. Nobody has any direction to move. So my idea was, if your group is open to this sort of thing, leave a hint. Maybe they're going to start looking for ways out, right?
Right.
Give them a way out. They've already screwed up enough. We know that they weren't. We know that they missed all the clues coming in here.
Right, because they're players.
Yeah, but we don't want to punish them to the point where we just say, okay, all the aliens attack, and you took 10,000 damage. Hey, you're dead.
Yeah.
So you want to give them an out. We also want to. We still want it to be interesting. We want there to be a chance for a success and a chance for a failure. They might win. They might lose. So my idea is to put like the old standard, air ducts.
Yeah, there's a ventilation shaft that's not on the plans.
There's something that nobody expected that they can go out a different way and they can start running, and they're dragging this guy behind him because they really want to get away with him, and the aliens really want to get him back. They don't, the aliens know that they don't want to kill the guy,
right?
And they know that the aliens don't want them to get the guy away. So now we've got a chase scene. We've gone from this static nothing's happening. We're all just
Sort of a
staring at
siege,
each other for 2 hours to an exciting chase scene, and maybe dragging the guy along is slowing them down and costing them resources. So now they're going to have to make the hard decisions. Do we leave the guy and save our own lives, or do we just keep watching the PCs get overrun by aliens because we're slowed down? It makes an interesting story rather than just staring at each other.
Well, and, we've made fun a couple of times, but to be fair, a lot of times the reason that players get themselves into these situations is because the GM is not communicating the clues as clearly as we think we are. I mean, I'm perfect in every way, but I've played with some GMs who are not as perfect as me. And so they're like, why didn't you guys see this brilliant solution? And then you're like, what are you talking about? I don't remember you saying that. Or you said it, but I didn't think it was real. Or you said it, but didn't put any emphasis on it. Or I didn't think it would work.
One thing I like to do when I'm working a mystery is every couple of sessions, somewhere we're in the middle of the mystery. If it's a long one, it might be once a month, or it might be every couple of weeks. Start of the session, ask the players where they are. Let them and listen in while they toss theories around. Okay, this happened, and then this guy, and then this, and listen for what they've missed.
Right.
And that way you can make sure and seed that in that session. And if they miss it again and again and again, well, occasionally you got to bring out the anvil and just hit him in the head with it.
Right. Right.
Or you change,
Right.
or you change to meet what they're
Or you
looking at.
get some great ideas from that too.
'Cause, another way to resolve this situation, we've got our Mexican standoff going, and then since it's a space opera type game, have the Borg of your universe show up,
Someone
and now
totally
threaten
new.
both groups, and now they've got to work together to take out that threat.
Right.
And of course, in all the chaos and confusion, the lead guy disappears, and now they realize, well, we about got the upper hand, but if we stick around to the end, the Horde now no longer has to hold their fire against us. So maybe it's time for us to exit stage right.
What's interesting to me is that the situation that Brendan wrote us about it's the opposite of so many other role-playing scenarios where the villain takes a hostage. In this case, the player characters are the hostage takers. So what I would do is I would turn all of the strategies that players have used on various hostages. Because if, the Joker or the Riddler, takes over a bank somewhere and puts bombs on everybody's chest, the players have 100 different strategies for dealing with that. Now I can then turn it around on them and say like, okay, well, the aliens are getting into the air ducts.
Right.
They're trying to flood the area with knockout gas. They are trying to cut off your resources. And that gives them immediate problems, right? It's not, oh my God, what are we going to do? It's you have to deal with the fact that you have no air, like your air is running out. You have to do something about that. And if you have immediate problems rather than the bigger problem, eventually they're going to be like, okay, I've got it. I figured it out. The aliens overreached in this area when they were trying to cut off our power. Now we have control of the power system and we can escape. Or alternately, maybe they can say like, this hostage situation is not working out. We promise to let him go if we can get to a shuttle and escape.
Right.
And then do they follow through with that, or do they break their promise? All of these things are. I would just turn around all of the various hostage negotiation and
bring in the nanny who's babysitting the hostage's crippled 4-year-old daughter and have her sniveling for her father. Daddy. So,
we need proof of life from the guy you have captured there. But in any situation, what I always turn to is what's the motivation of the various people and groups involved. So this Horde is under the control of the guy, of the villain. He wants to maintain control of the Horde and he wants to escape. He doesn't want to be locked up in space jail for 1,000 years.
Not space jail.
Yeah, I know. It's the worst kind of jail. Everybody knows that. But what does the Horde want? Do they want to be free from the guy? Do they have some kind of biological imperative that he's suppressing? Is there some, do they have some goal that he's helping them with? Maybe they could get that goal from the player characters. Also, what are the player characters' goal? Are they mercenaries? Does this guy have a bounty on him? In that case, maybe he has enough resources to pay them more than what they'll get in the bounty.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We didn't get a lot of the background about why he had to be brought in alive.
Exactly.
But he did. So not a bad move necessarily, because it certainly put the group into a that issue
Dangerous situation.
exactly where now they They can't just roll their d20s and see if they hit or missed to
Gotta
work
make
their
them
way out of
think,
it.
yeah.
To be honest, I didn't see this as a problem. Like, I thought this was like, this is the ideal ending to this scenario, right? Like, they've now taken a hostage, and this is a hostage crisis for the galaxy to weigh in on. What they decide in this moment is going to impact the entire rest of the campaign and how other species will see them.
This whole thing could be flipped so much around. The video monitors can start showing the local news of the terrorists who've taken this guy over. They're like, what? We're not terrorists. We're the good guys.
He's a criminal. Or, or even if they say this guy is so horrible, like they made it seem like this. I mean, he made it seem like this guy was really bad.
Right.
So maybe public opinion won't turn against him, but are their methods too extreme? People will begin to say we've gone too far when we employ people like these player characters. We've lost our way in the galaxy. So
your situation is pretty grim when you resort to hiring PCs.
That's certainly true. Well, Brendan, I hope that we helped. I'm sure the several weeks of delay between when you sent us your Facebook comment and when we replied, probably you came up with a better idea in that time anyway. If you have a problem in your campaign and you'd like us to weigh in on it or analyze it or tear it to pieces for 10 minutes like we just did with Brendan, you can send it to us on Twitter. You can send it to us on Facebook like Brendan did. You can leave it in the comments on YouTube or at pulpgamer.com. And we read them all, and we'll be happy to reply and do what we can to help you out.
You know what? You can even stop by Tucson, Arizona, be part of the show, and introduce it right here live.
You can bring your minis. You can set it all up. We'll be happy to work it out for you. Thanks very much for watching, and see you next time.
pulpgamer.com